So Valentine's is coming up, and you really don't need to go out and spend a bunch of money, especially eating out, even though we do love to eat out so we don't have to do the dishes. But you can do a really good Valentine's supper for your spouse and not spend a lot of money. I went and I bought a pork tenderloin. It cost me just a little over $8. And what I'm going to use tonight is I'm just going to use what vegetables I've got in the refrigerator. It's you take Dijon mustard and brown sugar and Italian seasoning, and you just rub it all over your pork loin and put your vegetables around it, put it in the oven, and about an hour later you're going to have a wonderful Valentine's supper. And on top of that, we're going to make a quick dessert too. So y'all stick around, and I really think you're going to like this recipe, especially the easy dessert, because it's going to be really good. It's not going to take long to make, and I think your spouse, your honey, or whatever you call them, I think they're really going to like it. Tonight we're going to be making a Dijon mustard, brown sugar rubbed pork tenderloin with roasted vegetables. Okay, let's get our tenderloin ready. Now I've got 2 small tenderloins here, and that's what I like. I like it better than I do a big tenderloin. I've got some brown sugar, and I've got some infused sea salt. It's got Italian herbs in it. I bought it at Home Goods. I love buying different seasonings at Home Goods. They have all different kinds. This is a Tuscan sea salt. And I've got my homemade mustard, and I've got some black pepper. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our tenderloins and we're going to just rub them down with this sea salt and herbs. The herbs in here is garlic and basil, oregano, and a little bit of thyme. But if you don't have sea salt, you don't have to use sea salt. You can use regular salt. Mix up your own seasoning. I do a lot of my own seasoning mixes. If you don't like, certain seasonings, leave it out. So we're going to just really, on every side, just really rub these down with our seasoning. And that's one thing I tell people is season things to your taste. You use seasonings and herbs and spices that you like. Now we're going to put a little bit of pepper on it, because a lot of people don't like a lot of garlic. I like a lot of garlic. Some people don't like the taste of thyme, and I just love it. So to me, it's just all to your taste and how you like it. So we got them rubbed down good. Now we're going to take our mustard. And this is my homemade mustard. If you've got store-bought Dijon mustard, that's really good on it. So we're going to rub it down good. And I use mustard on my pork butts when I'm smoking my pork butts in the smoker. I rub them down really good with Dijon mustard or my homemade mustard. And this homemade mustard is so good. In fact, I'm about out and I need to make some more. Just give them a good rub down. This recipe, your tenderloins will come out so tender. There's not a lot of fat on these tenderloins that had been cut off. Now usually when I cook pork tenderloins, I kind of sear them in a pan. And after searing them, I'll stick them in the oven for about 20 minutes, and they're so good. But this recipe is a little bit different in the way we cook it. I wash my hands. Because the way we're going to cook it here, we're just going to stick them straight into the skillet, or if you can use a sheet pan, whatever you got, baking sheet. Or now I'm going to take my brown sugar and I'm just going to kind of press it down onto my tenderloin. It'll stick on there real good because you've rubbed it with mustard already. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's going to be too sweet, but it's really not. When you're baking these tenderloins with that brown sugar just, I don't know, it gives it a good crust, and it just infuses down in that meat and just tastes so good. Because pork and anything sweet to me tastes good together. So, but once we get our tenderloins in our pan, 375 oven, we're going to put vegetables all around our pork. And I'm just using whatever I've got. Mr. Brown's not eating white potatoes right now. He's trying to stay away from as much starch as he can. So I'm using just different things that I grabbed out of the refrigerator. So let's put our tenderloin in here. We're going to put it in the middle of the pan. And I'm going to try to get the rest of this good stuff off here. Now I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit and wipe my hands off good. Now we're going to put in the vegetables. And this is what I had in the fridge. We've got sweet potatoes. I had some broccoli. I've got radishes. And if you've not ever ate roasted radishes, you're missing out because they are so good. They're not bitter, nothing. They don't even taste like a radish. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to put some pepper. And I'm going to grab my home blend of Italian seasonings from my garden. There's basil and oregano and thyme and a little bit of rosemary in there. That's what I'm going to use on my vegetables. I might sprinkle some on my meat. And we're just going to take our hands and we're just going to toss it around, get it coated real good. Then we're going to take it and just place it around our meat. And I love it that it's just a one-pan meal because I don't want a bunch of dishes to clean up. You know, when you're trying to spend time with your spouse and you don't want to have a sink full of dirty dishes waiting on you. So this is a very good idea to not have a bunch of dishes left over. I'm just going to pour the rest of this on there. And that dish is done. Okay, they've been in a 375 degree oven for 30 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate my vegetables. I'm going to put my sweet potatoes over here on one side, then I'm going to put my broccoli over here on one side. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm fixing to add another ingredient to this and something more, just a little bit special. Because we know that fruit goes really well with pork. So I'm going to be adding some sliced apples to this. And you don't want to add them ahead of time because they'll get mushy. So after 30 minutes, just kind of move this around. And then add your sliced apples to it. Now you can use any kind of apple, but my favorite in dishes like this, especially being baked, is Granny Smith, and Honeycrisp is my favorite. And this is just going to bring it up another notch. And of course I had apples on hand, so use what you got. I've got some brown sugar, and I love sweet potatoes with brown sugar. Of course it's going to be good on the apples, so just sprinkle it a little bit on top of all that. That's why kindly moved my broccoli to the other side. The roasted radishes, like I said before, they're delicious. They don't taste anything like a radish. So, we're going to put it back in a 375-degree oven for another 30 minutes. Okay, I just pulled it out of the oven and it cooked 50 minutes altogether. And the vegetables are good and done, and everything just smelling and looking really good. Okay, we got supper done, so now we're going to make our dessert. Now we are going to make our beautiful little trifle desserts. And what I done is I made it just as simple as I could. I took one of my favorite cake mixes, which is Duncan Hines, and I just made the cake up. I just made, I've got enough here that I'll just wrap this up and put it in the freezer for next time when I need some cake. Or if the grandkids are over and I just need to take this out and make me some frosting, so, you know, get a little extra there. But I do have some here that I've cut up, and it will be going in the bottom of our little wine glasses here. What I'm going to do first, I want to make my cream cheese. It's just like a cheesecake, more or less, sauce or filling or something like that. And it's just 4 ounces of cream cheese. And I'm going to take about a half a cup of powdered sugar. And I've got a little bit of heavy cream in here. Now you can use milk if you don't have heavy cream. And I'm going to start out with a tablespoon. And I'm going to mix that up real quick. Make sure I'm plugged in. Okay, it's still pretty thick, so I'm going to put another tablespoon of heavy cream or milk. Tastes pretty good. And you can put a little bit of vanilla in here if you want to. Or you could even put a little bit of lemon zest or a little bit of lemon juice in it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this off the sides. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get my whipped cream real quick. Okay, I've got whipped cream here. And this was, I know this looks like quite a bit. This was about a cup and a half of heavy cream, and it makes quite a bit. So I need to put, I'm going to start with about a half a cup in here with my cream cheese filling. And I'm just going to try to fold that in there with, and this is going to come together pretty quick. It's going to be really good. So I've got that folded into my cream cheese filling. I've got just a few little strawberries that I cut up and put a little bit of sugar on. Well, monk fruit's what we're using now, just to get some of them good juices out of them. And we're going to start putting this together. So on the bottom of the glass, I'm just going to crumble up kind of decent chunks and put here in the bottom. I love these little desserts like this. It just makes it that much more special just to have your little desserts like this for special occasions. Now if you have kids at home, Call your mama and ask her to watch the kids for you, or Aunt Susie or somebody. And just have a good meal together. Enjoy each other's company. Okay, we got our chocolate cake in the bottom. I'm going to take some strawberries. Just kind of layer them on top of that chocolate cake. So you got all the good stuff going on in this little bitty wine glass. You've got chocolate, you've got strawberries, you're going to have cheesecake, and you're going to have whipped topping. So how can you get any better than that? Okay, so on top of the strawberries, we're going to put our cream cheese topping. And of course you're going to make a mess, but you can kind of wipe that off later. So I'm going to try to spread this out just a little bit. It don't have to be perfect. You kind of want your layers to show too. Makes it look pretty. And I really, that's one of my favorite desserts is a trifle. You can feed a lot of people with a big old punch bowl trifle. And there's so many different kinds. So this is just a mini version of that. So there is our cheesecake part of it. If I can get that in there. Like I said, you can clean it up later because it is messy around the edge of it. Now I'm going to put just a little bit more cake. Kind of push it down in there if you have to. You know, sometimes it's fun being a little bit fancy. Me and Mr. Brown have not been eating a whole lot of desserts lately, so this is going to be a big treat. So there is our second layer of cake, but that is our fourth layer. And I've got just a little bit more strawberries. Kind of push that down in there. And I'm going to put one more little thing of cream cheese. One more layer. Just kind of spread it out a little bit. And those layers look really pretty. Okay. Now what we got is our whipped cream. Put it on there. And it's a little bit messy. You see those pretty layers in there. Chocolate, strawberries, cream cheese filling. And then you take your strawberry, put right there on top, right there in that whipped cream. And there you go. It's about that simple and about that quick. And I think y'all are really going to enjoy it. Beautiful layers of yumminess. To say, the supper was really good, wasn't it? The pork was really tender.
It was really good.
And all them different flavors in there. You had the sweet potatoes, you had the apples, and broccoli. Of course, we always try to eat our greens.
Radishes.
The radishes, roasted radishes are so good, aren't they?
It's unreal.
It don't even taste like a radish. It takes away the bitter taste. It's not hot. I mean, it's just roasted radishes
Fry them up like potatoes. I'm not a radish fan, and I love them.
Yeah, we'll do that sometime and show them. But anyways, we're fixing to start in on our parfait here. It looks really good, don't it?
I know it'll be good. Strawberries,
chocolate cake, cream cheese, and whipped topping. I mean, it's all in one little wine glass. So, anyways, happy Valentine's. Cheers.
Happy Valentine.
Happy Valentine.
I get to feed you this.
Oh, no.
I get to feed you this.
Okay.
Bite. And you can feed me mine. Strawberry.
Those are good. This was really cheesy. Anyways, happy Valentine's. I hope y'all liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, share it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I hope you like these recipes. They're easy and didn't cost much. And you can stay home and just enjoy your Valentine night with your honey.
With your honey.
With your honey. Anyways, we'll see
y'all.
Nothing
like your honey.
We'll see y'all later, and God bless. Those strawberries are sweet.